stands for this, he's supposed to stand with the Cheretz. With Kavanah, with the Cheretz. The Cheretz means that you're supposed to stand upright. It does not mean you stand with your head held high. Your head is supposed to be at a slight inclined angle so you're bowing before Hashem. Yet it is forbidden. It's very, very strictly forbidden to bow at a bracha which is not necessary. Just as important as it is, for example, to bow at Baruch Atah Hashem in the beginning. Baruch Atah Hashem again R Avraham. The first bracha beginning and end, that's where you bow. And the last bracha, which means the beginning of a door, that's where you bow. Beginning and end of the bracha. But no other place. First bracha begins with the first words, Baruch Atah Hashem. That's where you bow. And then it ends with Baruch Atah Hashem again R Avraham. That's the beginning and end of the first one. The last one, which means the beginning of the last, Yechas begins with Menachem Mendel Schneerson, and it ends with Baruch Atah Hashem Teshuva. It's the only place where a person is about to bow this Shmoneh. Any other bracha bowing, Baruch Atah Hashem Chaya Mason, Baruch Atah Hashem Chaya Adas, that is considered a worse sin than not bowing at the first one. Strictly forbidden about it. So therefore you got to be careful. Some people daven completely bowed. That's the Shulchan Kippur usually is daven that way. Him a kufa completely bent over, bowing before Hashem. And there there's very big danger. You got to be alert mentally to know that when they get to the beginning of the bracha, the end of the bracha, they should be sure to stand up straight. Not to be bent over there, because it means they're bowing at the end of a bracha, beginning of a bracha, which is not necessary, which is not permitted. However, during the entire Shmoneh, a person stands with his head slightly inclined, it's not considered bowing, which is the proper position. But most important, the person should know that he's not allowed to lean on anything, not the slightest bit. The person could be standing next to a shtender, this way, davening, chazir for instance. He holds a shtender, sometimes he bends over and he leans on it slightly. His weight is upon it, even though it is called only a slight koldahu, because slight means that in case, let's say, if you would take that pillar away, he wouldn't fall over. Complete leaning support means that he leans on it this way. If somebody pulled this away, he'd fall over. Slightly means like this. If it was pulled away, it still remained, it wouldn't fall. That slightly too is forbidden to lean on during Shmoneh. So it's important to know what's rule. You mentioned before, let's repeat it again so that we can remember. This rule applies to a person davening Shmoneh. Not the slightest bit of leaning is allowed. Of course, if you're davening straight like this, you don't have to lean on. In case you do happen to have a high table or a wall, you're davening against, leaning against the wall, that's not allowed. And the same thing to a person who's called up to the Sefer Torah. At the time of reading the Torah, the person who is called up, the Baal Torah and the two Gaboyim on the side are not allowed to lean on a table during the time of the leading the Torah. Leaning is a sign of disrespect. You would not lean, you would stand at attention in front of a high official, in front of a king certainly, in front of a king of kings, naturally. If a person is ill, then there's a special dispensation. Special permission is granted for that person. He cannot stand upright. He's allowed to lean. If he cannot do that either, he's allowed to sit during Shmoneh. Can't do that. He's allowed to lie during Shmoneh. He's even allowed to lie. But under no conditions is he allowed to lie on his back. That's never permissible. While davening, even if the person is most sick, must move on to his side, right side or left side. But he cannot, it's got to be on an incline. Even lying in bed, as ill as he is, even if he can barely move, but say a person, all of a sudden you see this, persons who are post-operative cases, persons who are bedridden. So if he cannot do that, then he's forced to lie on his back. Try to move a couple of inches over, like lifting up one shoulder slightly. He's at a slight angle in that way you daven. If it's impossible to daven at all, it's that even he could think in his mind, in his heart, think the words. That's where it's very healthy, very beneficial for a person to learn to daven by heart. It's good for a person to know by heart davening, because sometimes it may be necessary having a sitter. Good for a person to know a lot of the tefillos by heart, benching, davening, taking a chloe, tillin, and so forth, because there are times when it's emergency, it comes in handy. It's good for a person to know Torah by heart, know Gemara by heart. When he's in a lonesome place, he has to get a safe where he can learn. It's good to know Mishnayos by heart. It's good to know Shas by heart. A person's on an island and wants to go through Shas. Go through Shas. No problem. The heart is a lathe. The heart should be filled with Torah anyhow, and that's of course, there's special thing that we'll come to later on where certain things you're not allowed to say by heart. Plus, this saying by heart is not beneficial. It's not permissible or hatfilah. It's only in times of technique. It is much better for a person to daven in the sitter than to daven by heart. Because it is fact that looking in the sitter will stop a little, not much, will stop your mind from wandering. If you're not looking in the city, your eyes are closed, you just waft off into dreamland. The mind goes way out, and you find yourself thinking about the strangest things, and suddenly you find that your feet are carrying you back 3 steps. Where were you in between? You walked in 3 steps, walked back 3 steps. That's because your eyes are closed and you went into dreamland. It's the fastest way to fall asleep. Nothing is as potent. So therefore, the answer is, look, you'll be sitter, you will find that you can concentrate better, your mind won't go off. It says which sometimes in davening by heart, there are certain passages found in 2 different places in davening. Same way, you'll find yourself knowing a word passage, you say one thing, you'll find you're in a different place because it's a similar word. You went off into a different tangent, and instead of being, let's say, davening mincha, weekdays, you'll find yourself davening the tefillah's the Elah of Hanukkah. Forever. Find yourself in a different world. That's why Isis Machtimais, daven inside, daven with Kavanah, Shizach to that Kavanah, maybe during the time a person stands for Esrei, during that period of Esrei, those few moments when he should be concentrating purely on what he's doing. He should at least avoid things that will distract him. For instance, you're not allowed to hold anything during time of Shemona Esrei. This is a person might forget. He might have a thing in his hand, and he'll daven with one of the things in his hand. But that thing will distract him. His word will be drawn to what he's holding. Be careful, he shouldn't drop it. He has a precious item. He's worried about that item, or he's thinking about that item. His concentration is removed from the davening to that item itself. Except, of course, a sitter or a machsa. Also, too, he should not be distracted by having to search for things that he needs. For instance, if he's got to say Yaakov or Nosson, he shouldn't have to look to find that which he needs. He should have it prepared. He knows time spent. So you're going to start turning pages in the middle of Shemona looking at something. That's not part of the Shemona already. It's doing something, no matter how little, it's doing something which is not part of the Shemona. Also, he should not have anything separating between himself and his tefillah, which means they should be like in front of a wall, in front of a table, and behind a table, behind a person, but to have a small item the floor in front of him, that's considered a chatzitza, separation. Even a chair, for example, is not too good. It's a big enough item to anything which is, let's say, about 40 inches high. 40-inch high item, unless it's a set, established item. So it's not good to have that separating between yourself and you're supposed to be standing in the throne of Hashem. So, of course, if a person has his eyes closed or looks at the siddur, concentrates, then nothing is considered a hefsek really. But the halacha, nothing separates a person from Hashem, as long as his kavanah is where he is, where he's supposed to be. So too, there are two things you cannot daven in front of. You cannot stand in front of a wall that has pictures in it. This is a serious item, very serious item. There are places, there are shuls that have paintings, murals in the front walls, and those are absolutely illegal. How they did it, it was done by ignorance on the part of the founders, the builders, and so on. But it is illegal to have murals or paintings on the walls. This, of course, if it is paintings of human beings, then surely there's no shadow at all. It's puzzle treif all the way. But even any kind of pictures are forbidden to daven in front of. If a person does have something like that, he's forced to, he can't help it, so at least he should close his eyes. Or block his eyes, if he hold his siddur up in front of his eyes where he can see nothing but the siddur with him. That's the least he can do. So, in other words, closing the eyes and holding your siddur in front of your eyes, blocking your vision, is enough to nullify the pictures in front of you. The second case is much more strict, and that is a mirror. A person can never daven in front of a mirror, even if his eyes are closed, even if he has a siddur in front of his eyes. That is 100% posel and osir under many circumstances. There's no way you can be a heter for davening in front of a mirror. The shaila to the other. The person did daven in front of the mirror when his tefillah counts at all. In front of the mirror, of course, means that Chas Hashem is davening to, he's making an idol out of himself. Which of course passes in tefillah. These two items, the union of pictures on the wall, by the way, there's big thesis which deals with this. And there are many poskim in there too speak about pictures in the Chassidut, where they have in some places pictures of the signs of the zodiac, the Machzor. You know what the Machzor, these pictures you have there. The Yaakov, they have pictures of the crossing of the Red Sea, the plagues, and so forth. Not the Jewish American modern Agodas have all these pictures. They pride themselves with these pictures and how authentic they are. The person was there at the time. He drew an artist's conception which is so accurate. These things are questionable whether they are permissible at all to keep. So for children, we allow it. But the person, the man, should avoid having any siddur, anything which is tefillah, any sefer tefillah with pictures in it. Also, a person should try to avoid davening outside. Outside the place which is open. That's bad because you're supposed to be within a closed place to have a fear of Hashem upon you. Davening in the street or something like that. Unless it's an emergency, you're traveling on a road, you see that it's getting dark, you'll miss mincha, chas v'sholem, then you're allowed to daven out in the open, or in a field even, try to go close to the trees if you could, not to a broad patch of grass. Of course, there's a long topic there. These things do happen. There are reasons for it. You're taking the shomish, the woman, and so on. Second, all these are intended for the sake of concentrating in tefillah. You're not going to daven with true kavanah, and that way they have a tefillah this kabbalah. In the proper way of standing, that's right. The proper, respectful way. This says that it is forbidden, and understandably so, because it's morally wrong even to do this in front of an ordinary person, in front of a person who's more than authority, in front of a king, surely. So certainly in the case of Shemoneh Esrei, standing before Hashem, it's actually forbidden for a person to yawn. Because yawning is a sign, openly a sign of disrespect. Yawn or make other sounds, belching. Really, Shemoneh Esrei, these things are extremely impolite in front of a person, and much more so standing before Hashem. If it is impossible for a person to overcome the natural desire for it, so at least he should cover his mouth. Put his hand over his mouth. It's the only smallest polite way of hiding this action. So too, if his talus fell off partially, he's allowed to replace it, put it on again. If it fell off entirely, then he's not allowed to touch it, because it's considered a hefsek. But wait until he finishes Shemoneh Esrei daven without a talus. Worse than both of these is a person who starts off without a talus. That's the worst thing. Now, if a person is davening and the sitter he's holding falls to the floor, or so he's standing next to the table, he brushed the sefer that fell on the floor. He's not supposed to stop to bend down and pick it up. He's not supposed to move. Even if he doesn't move his feet, he's not supposed to move his feet apart. That's imperative. Even without moving his feet apart, bending down, feet together, he still should not bend down and pick it up, unless it is something that bothers him that much. The sefer's on the floor, it takes away, it detracts from his kavanah. It is permissible for him to pick up the sefer. At least he should wait until he finishes the bracha that he is on. All these things that are said, all these things that are forbidden during Shemoneh Esrei, every single item we mentioned about not moving and not making motions and so forth, not looking out, this refers till the end of Shemoneh Esrei. At the end of Shemoneh Esrei, in davening, the words is when he has to Eisa Shalom Imnei, which means he finishes the words Yihi L'Ratzim L'Nefei. And that line, the end of Shemoneh Esrei, which you could say before the kind of tzad, or before Eisa Shalom. When you finish that line, that's when you have finished davening Shemoneh Esrei. That's the davening part. But that has nothing to do with everything we said until now. That does not help a person finish that davening part. He cannot do any of the items we said until he actually moves back 3 steps. Because he is still standing in front of Hashem when he's inside those 3 steps. There are other laws that are permissible. For instance, to answer Amen, to talk, not to talk, but to speak out Amen and is a Baruch Hu, Kedusha and so forth. If he already said Yihi L'Ratzim L'Nefei, the last line, he's allowed to answer all these things. But the other motions and movements are all forbidden until he has walked back 3 steps, because that designates the end of the Shemoneh Esrei. Even before he has finished walking forward, once he's walked back, he's out already. He has to wait, but he's considered outside of the throne room. It's permissible. We'll take up more about this rule, and Shulchan speaks about it more. But first, we come to a din that in some places makes no difference at all. It's an automatic item. Other places it presents a major problem. The only solution to this problem is not to allow the problem ever to come up. That's what the Shulchan says. You don't allow it to come up, then you have no problem. If you do allow it to come up, then it's a person's headache, and that's it. And this is the manner in which a shul is built. A shul should be built originally. When you first build a shul, you think, just like you're going to think about the size of the shul, the number of rooms, the height, width, whatever purpose it's for, the chitza, and so on. You should also naturally think about where you're building it, which direction the front of the shul is. Because the only right direction is the one facing Eretz Yisrael. so that people living to the west of Eretz Yisrael, those in the western hemisphere, should have all shuls facing east, towards the Atlantic Ocean. Facing east, that will be facing towards Eretz Yisrael. Of course, depending upon the longitude, from which north they are, you're further up north, you have to face east, but also inclined towards the south, so it's southeast. Those who are in South America have to face east, but slightly inclined to northeast. Now, those who are on the east of Eretz Yisrael, those would have to face west. Those who are west have to face east, east have to face west. Those who north have to face south, and south have to face north. So this is a din which the Gemara says this would mean that wherever Jews are throughout the entire world, all faces are turned towards the central point, towards the place where tefillos rise up. And the reason is that tefillos do not rise vertically. They do not go, you speak, they don't go straight up this way, straight line to heaven. All tefillos travel horizontally till a straight line in the direction of the base of Mikdash, the local Mikdash. And there, they turn upwards, upward direction, they go up. Now, they don't have to wait for the next plane to sneak on it, to stow away on a ship. It's just well, these tefillos, they travel fast, but they still travel in that direction. It's written in Fedish, the tefillos travel horizontally, straight till the local Mikdash, to they go up. The only time a person has tefillos on top that rise straight upwards is when he stands by the Kesel Ravi. He knows then the tefillos are directly. This is under the gate of heaven. So it's a shorter trip for the tefillah. It doesn't take much time, but it's still a shorter trip, and the tefillah doesn't get up fast. So the tefillah could become slightly bent out of shape through the fast movement. Let's go this way. Sort of bend it, crease it. Now, but there's no creasing. It comes out smooth. It goes right up, ironed out. But all tefillahs must be directed to the central point, the Merkaz, which is Eretz Yisrael, and therefore, too, a person davening in a section or a place where he does not know. Say it's at night, he can't see where the sun is, or it's cloudy. He can't tell which is east or west. There's nobody to ask. He's out where it's impossible to detect the sides. He has no Boy Scout compass with him. In that case, then a person should concentrate his tefillos to heaven, to the base of English, to heaven, wherever it is. And where he stands, his thought is there. So at least if his face is not towards there, it's his thought. And that's how every person, every Jew in the world, has his mind to talpiyos. It's called talpiyos, tail, shakel, pointed by a mount. Basically, this is built on a mount. Shakel pointed, all faces are turned towards this mount. It's towards heaven, and it says towards the mount. Face should turn towards heaven. That's the Gemara says too, that the eyes, the heart of a person daven. So, the person should look up, look down, face up or face down. Which is it? The Gemara says that the person should face down. His heart should face up. His heart should be to heaven. His eyes, of course, closed. His eyes should be towards down. Down meaning towards the Kesel Maravi, towards the base of Mikdash. That's the proper combination between the eyes and the heart. And then, in that way, a person will know that his direction is proper. So in all cases, the direction to daven is towards the base of Mikdash. If, of course, you can find this difference much more pronounced in the case of Jews living in Eretz Yisrael. It's there, within a radius of 10 miles, you can have, within 10 miles, you can have Jews facing in 3 different directions. those living north of Yerushalmi, south of Yerushalmi, west of Yerushalmi, all of them would be facing directions like towards each other. It would look like, together it looks to me like the shul Shari Tzion, it's called. Shari Tzion, they have the Aron Kodesh, and they have people facing all directions towards the Aron Kodesh, which is Shari Tzion, of course. We'll discuss that more tomorrow because we want to attack that problem. As we said, shuls should be built properly. Now we'll discuss what about the shuls that are questionable. We should be zeichet to daven in the right direction with our hearts too. Avinu Shabashamayim, and our tefillah should be accepted b'rotzen. No matter where he's standing. And therefore, if persons are about to build a shul, they should make sure that the shul is built properly. They're not allowed to build a shul with the Aron Kodesh facing in a different direction. The people should stand facing the Aron Kodesh while at the same time facing Eretz Yisrael. Now, if two things happen. Let's say that a person stood Shemona Esrei, it wasn't in a shul or wherever it was, even if it wasn't in a shul, but he was facing the wrong way. Then when Shemona Esrei, he reminded himself that he's not facing Shemona Esrei, he's not facing east. He should be facing east, and instead he's facing south. Which means that he's got to turn to the left. He's not supposed to turn around, move his feet. That is forbidden. He should turn his face towards the left, 90-degree angle, turn, a quarter-hour turn. Means his body faces towards where he's standing. His face turns to the left. Or, let's say he was facing to the north, he should turn to the right, quarter turn. But in any event, he should turn only his face. That's if he caught himself after he started Shemona Esrei. If, let's say, he was facing west, very few people in the world can turn complete 180-degree turn. Stay this way and have their head that way. So, in that case where it's impossible, he should simply stay the way he is and have in mind his heart towards Eretz Yisrael and without moving at all. Same thing applies too. This is a very delicate thing, but again, the person is not to blame. He davens in a shul where they built the shul facing the wrong way. It was them that he ever. So to turn away from the Aron Kodesh looks like it's disrespectful. Everyone there facing the Aron Kodesh because they think that it's the Aron Kodesh you daven to, and not that it's so. So the whole shul is facing that way. You're going to turn away. It looks like you're rebelling. You're different. Either you think you know too much, or else you really know too little. So what should be done? The answer is, in that case, despite what they think, if there's a place where it was built and conducted by Oyois, you're not supposed to follow them. That's their fault. You're not turning away. They're turning away. They're doing wrong. The thing is, if you daven in a shul like that, you must face towards the proper direction. Now, if the shul is towards the south, let's say, then it's simple. You stand facing the Aron Kodesh, and you turn your head a quarter turn. That's possible, or the north. Now, if it's to the west, you have no choice. You have to stand at least a quarter turn, stand facing the south. Because anyhow, Eretz Yisrael is southeast. At least you have a fair direction. Face to the south, slight incline of the head, you're already southeast, and there's no problem. The fact that it's not nice, so-called, the truth is that it's not nice for those who did wrong. But this is the way the whole shul should be davening. If the whole shul stood that way, they would either get the builder to dig under the foundation and just simply turn the whole shul around, or else they would do something about rebuilding the structure. Moving it the other way around, it could be done, of course. It's very expensive, but there's a lot of money wasted on other things. Now, if also you come to a shul where there's a point where the shul is built perfectly, the Aron Kodesh is right at the east, you face that way, perfect. You can't turn away. Then it will be folly. they're all facing correctly. That is the place that it's, and turn away. Turn away, then is wrong. Under all circumstances, it would seem that it's a crime. Yet, if a shul has a reference to bowing, the times we bow in this ministry, we spoke about it once before, brief, but we couldn't do this topic now, officially. There are 4 places in this ministry that we must bow, and no place else. You're not allowed to bow at any bracha aside from these 4. The first one is the beginning of this ministry, Baruch Atah Hashem. There, it is a kriya ishtachavoya. It means that the word Baruch, which also resembles, comes with the same origin as the word Berkayim. Berach means a knee. Berkayim knees. You bend your knees at the word Baruch. At the word Atah, you straighten out and you bend over, you bend your head down practically till the waist. You bow till the waist. Straight bow. At the word Hashem, you have to be erect, upright. So when you finish bowing at Atah, you first come back upright and then say Hashem. You're not supposed to have your head bowed at Hashem. It would seem that it should be the opposite. So you bow while saying Hashem's name. Because we have a posek, Hashem Zekev Kefufim. Posek that Hashem raises up those who are bent, those who are beneath a heavy yoke. As a downtrodden, this is the symbol that Hashem will raise us up from below. So we have that, the first bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem, at the beginning of the Shemini Esrei. And then at the end of that first bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem, again Avraham, again Baruch, you bend the knees. Atah, you bow your head. Hashem is straight up. The manner of bowing, when you bow, we mentioned that before a king, you're in haste to bow, but quickly to show your respect to the king. The fact that you are bowed shows that you have subdued yourself, you are subservient to the king. This shows allegiance. The fact that you raise yourself up again shows that you are relieving yourself of this duty. Relieving him, but there is no sign. Maybe that in your heart you're still serving him, there's no sign of it. So it might be that a person might have left this service. So the person is not allowed to show he's in a hurry to get away from the king, in a hurry to stop bowing. So the manner of bowing is when you first bow, bend your knees, your head down, at a semi-rapid pace. When it comes to rising up, you slowly rise up, you sort of uncoil yourself, like a snake would slowly uncoil himself. The bowing itself, how far does a person bow? In the spine, there are 18 sections, 18 discs. You have the spinal discs, 18 of these discs. This, of course, refers to certain size discs because the medical profession shows a different number, and of course, again and again, they prove their ignorance. But the actual number of the discs in the spine is 18. This refers to tzadik, chai, rechon. This is the tzadik, yisoid. Tzadik yisoid. The yisoid of the body is the spinal cord. Why is it yisoid? Because it goes from chachma to, that is from das, to fedes yisoid. Right through the body till the yisoid. From the mind, that's how a child is born. The drop comes from the mind of the father down to the yisoid. So this is the spine, or the spinal cord. And there are, tzadik is called tzadik chai alman. 18 worlds of chai alpha. This referring to tzadik yisoid. That's why this here too we have the 18 discs, 18 chuyas of the shedra, the spine, bow, reference to this union of tzadik. That's how, too, what we said, we have the mitzvah of lulav. Lulav stands for tzadik yesod. In lulav, too, we have, with the lulav, you have a defka 18 times that you shake it. You go up and back 3 times in each direction. There are 6 directions, 4 winds and up and down, above and below. You have a total of 6. Each time you go forward, you shake it 3 times. That's 18 to show again the tzadik height. That's why we bow forward, to have all the 18 parts of the spine bowed to, show no. But a person is not supposed to bow too much. Some people bow way down to a fantastic length, a grotesque form. So they're sort of acrobats, double jointed. They can bow way down, and that is a manner of, that's not subduing oneself, that's gaiva. The person should not overdo it. He should bend properly, so it's up to the waist. He feels there is a bowing part, but not where his head would reach the same level as the waist. Case of an old person or a sick person whom it's very difficult to bend the bow, in case of people who are that ill or say in that condition, arthritis and so on, those people are excused from bowing that far. Just a slight inclination of the head is enough. There are cases, perhaps, where a person is, let's say, on a train or something, he can't show himself really bowing that far, so slightly less of a degree would be sufficient. Now, he says it's forbidden for a person to bow more than in these places. This forbidden to bow means not at the beginning of a bracha. Let's say that you get up at, you say bracha to Hashem, or gain Avraham. Now, at the beginning of the next bracha is Ata Gibar El Hashem. The words Ata Gibar is strictly forbidden to bow. You must be upright. You finish that word, or the first couple of words, then you are allowed to bend forward again slightly, as we do in Yerushalmi Kippur, to show that you are subdued, nichna before Hashem. But when you get to the end of the bracha, bracha to Hashem, Chayam Eisen, you have to be certain, other than you are erect, before you say bracha to Hashem. Because at the bracha itself, it's forbidden for a person to bow, except in those 4 places. Now, the last 2 places are Maiden, and that's the beginning of the bracha. The end of the bracha to Hashem, Atayv Shemcha, Ulachona Elohidus. Same as before, beginning and end. This is the beginning and end too. In this case, Baruch Atah Hashem, the end of the bracha, again, Baruch, the knees are bent, until the head is bent, Hashem, persons upright. In the case of Maiden, though the din says, many places can say that Maiden too, a person should bend his knees and bow his head, and stay bowed until he gets to the word Hashem also. At the word who, you rise up. Hashem must be set upright. Here, though many say that he's kaideo, mishtachavei, bends his knees and bows, custom, the accepted custom is to, by Maiden, just to bow the head alone without the knees. This is according to the Arizal. What the Arizal points out, very interestingly, very few are awake to this, that the fact is, there is still a question. Every other place, the other 3 places in Shemesra, you have bowing of the knees and the head. Manishtana, why should Maiden be different? It's true that you don't have the word Baruch Atah Hashem here, but the form of bowing, the manner of bowing, why is it different? Why should there not be bowing of the knees? Arizal answers that Maiden, it does not have the Shem, does not have the Baruch Atah, so therefore it is understandable that we do part of it. But at the same time, we don't want to differentiate from the rest of it. Therefore, to make up for it, we have Maiden D'Rabbanan, we bow once more, that covers for the knees. Regularly we have the knees and the head, and we have the head twice. So that's the secret of why we made this really special. How can we have twice there? Why do we bow there twice and no place else? So to make up for these in the head, we have twice again. And this would answer more, explain more for this side than for the others who have it the other way around. Then again, we follow Arizal, we follow what our forefathers have done, and that is to bow just the head at Megan, and the knees and the head in the other places, and to bow sort of quickly, rise up slowly, and to restrict the boundaries just to these 4 places. Yesterday's shir, the Torah is always a gear for the parsha of the week. Since you have Torah word yesterday with some Shemais, the parsha week was Chayei Sarah, the shir is Chayei Sarah, so there had to be a connection too. We spoke yesterday about the fact that Menachem Mendel was the heir, and Menachem Mendel was the heir, and Rabbi Shimon was also the heir. First letters of Menachem Mendel and Rabbi Shimon are exactly the same. Now, Torah says Ze'er Sham, if you recall. Ze'er Sham, Menachem Mendel is there, and Rabbi Shimon is there. It's not coincidental, it must be a connection somewhere. Shemon Esrei. The other Shemon Esrei we say like kind of say, there's a posek, give you the lesson make feet. That posek, when you finish that posek, then you can answer every Amen, even Baruch Yerushalmi. You can answer everything. You cannot talk after that Chas Shalom until you walk back 3 steps. And you finish everything else. But to answer any kind of a bracha, Gdusha, all the words, wait, then after you can do that. You can answer. You know, the quote Rashi Kodesh brings in Tanakh that when the person dies, the first question that Malachim ask him is, what is your name? And this question is one that if not answered, the Malachim Chas V'Shalom become very furious. These Malachim carry fiery whips, fiery rods, iron rods, heat up to a fiery degree. And if they get struck with one of these rods with the power of a malach, you can imagine how Chas V'Shalom needs to escape that. These malachim, they ask a person first question, what is your name? And by nature, a person becomes so flustered and so frightened, he's speechless. And at a time when the person is so upset, his mind cannot function. Possible a person can forget something. A sight that's so frightening makes him forget. So invariably a person forgets his name, he cannot remember it. And this of course brings them to a pitch of fury. They strike out at the person for an indefinite period of time, demanding his name. The more they strike him, the more wildly frantic he becomes, the less he remembers. So Rashi Kodesh says, and this is brought of course in the Sefer Kabbalah, that there is one remedy for this. It's one cure, one insurance. A person, no matter what happens, at least to remember his name. Against that, at least his name should be embedded, described in his memory so well that the first thing that will come to his mind then is to say, my name is. The way to do that is, just before the posek R Nosson, to say a posek which contains the first letter, begins with the first letter of his name, and ends with the last letter of his name. By saying this posek 3 times a day, 4 times on Shabbos, 5 times on Yom Kippur, that way he ensures himself that he will not forget his name. Name or names. So the person has 2 names. The person's name is Reuven, He says a posek with the first word of the posek Yideish. The posek ends with the letter Nun. His name is Shimon. Same thing. His name is Reuven Shimon. He has two names. Reuven Shimon. He's supposed to say two psukim. One starting with the Reish, ending with Nun. The second starting with Shin, ending with Nun. If you don't have that posek, then you'll ask me separately, and I'll get you the posek that's fit for your name. If you haven't been saying it, if you have, of course, no problem. If you haven't, you should be saying it just before the posek Yehi L'Ratzon. I'm sure everyone has been saying it for all your life. This is not a hidden fact. Every person knows about this rule. Now, when you get to Yehi L'Ratzon Reifi, you finish that line by Eisa showing. You walk back 3 steps. 3 steps are supposed to be 3 short steps, which means not more than the length of your foot, length of your shoe, one behind the other, 3 steps. The 4th one, you complete it, you put both feet together, stand erect, and then you bow out of the Shekhinah. They say Shalom Yimimol, you bow once. Uya says Shalom, you bow a second time. You know what I mean? 3rd time. When you bow to the Shekhinah. You always bow to the right side of the Shekhinah first. Right side of the Shekhinah is your left side. You're facing, your left hand faces the other's right. So Yisrael Shalom Aleinu, you first bow Yisrael Shalom Aleinu to the left, we ask Shalom Aleinu to the right, and call yourself to the center. Those 3 times, you bow, then you stand up straight. You wait until the Chazan gets to Kedusha, or until the Chazan starts Kaddish after Marriage. After you finish saying that line, then you say, "Here say Menachem Mendel Schneerson." This line, this tefillah is said because our tefillah is blessed in place of the korban. We do this tefillah now instead of the korban which is brought in the Beis Hamikdash. The end will follow, which we zecher to be able to actually bring the korban physically, rather than just in the Shalma Porim Soseda, rather than our mouths to give forth oxen, instead of the oxen which we brought on the Mizbeach. But the Tefillah Yehi L'Ratzon, there's a Shana part in the Zohar Kodesh, Tikuney Zohar brings that, we say that what caused the Churban Beis Hamikdash, in Hashem, Vayevne Bayis, Shav, Umro Bayna Bay. The Beis Hamikdash was not built by Hashem, could not be everlasting. Only Hashem's work is eternal. Built by Shlomo HaMelech, built by King, by Ezra, Nehemiah, by King Hordes, the 3rd Beis Hamikdash. By the time it was built, these are all built by humans, they cannot last. So we must have one built by Hashem, and then it will last forever. According to Tikuney Zohar, the Gear says, Yisrael Menachem Mendel Schneerson, Shetivna Beis Hamikdash Mehel that she bought it, but Shetivna. Others say she bought it, it shall be built by itself, built automatically by itself. Hashem will reveal this has been built. In either case, it's generally the Gear says, but the idea is that this is a Beis Hamikdash will be built by, not by human hands. It's built more by human deeds than by human hands. Humans work on the mitzvahs, so this is what is the supplies necessary to build a Beis Hamikdash with. So we're walking back 3 steps. You're supposed to start with 1 foot. You cannot hop back 1 foot. You are standing before Hashem. You're supposed to show a reluctance. I'm sorry to leave the presence of Hashem. You show that by walking back with the left foot first. Which means that normally a person walks. If you stand straight, there's an interesting halacha. Din of chalitza is a special halacha where there's one day where the foot is used in that mitzvah. To give a woman a divorce in case her husband died and she has no children, the brother has to marry her and divorce her, then it goes with the foot. So we have to know whether this person is right-handed, left-handed, right-footed, or left-footed. Just as there is a person who is left-handed, southpaw, by the same token, person favors one foot too. A person has more strength in a foot. If you ever played soccer, you see that one foot is the one that does the action. You'll know which foot, what the person is. One example is a more important example. And as we said, that just as a person can be right-handed or left-handed, a person can be right-footed or left-footed. Now, the right hand means the stronger hand, the favored hand. The right foot, the stronger or favored foot. So, the Gemara says, how can we tell? We have to do the mitzvah with the right foot. How can we detect a person, an old man who never played soccer in his life? You'll put him out in the field and kick a ball at him. You'll knock him over. There'll be no game left for him. How do we tell whether this person is right-footed or left-footed? The Gemara says, you take the person, put him up against the wall, his back to the wall, and you want to aim a rifle at him. Or else take a knife and pretend you're going to throw it at him. This person, young, old, he'll move fast. Get out of the way. When he moves, watch which foot he moves first. The foot he moves first, that's the foot he favors. Right foot moves first, he favors his right. Left foot he favors the left. It's the better foot that leads. The weaker foot follows. Therefore, since we know that most people are right-footed, if you want to get away from a knife or a gun, you use the right foot. You're getting away from a very delicious meal, a nice, good place. You're reluctant to go away. You move the left foot first. You don't want to go. Leaving the presence of Hashem is supposed to show that you're reluctant. You'd rather remain there longer, but not committed to. So you walk away with reluctance. You move your left foot first, back, then the right, then the left. You make the 3 steps. If a person is left-footed, then of course he must move with his right foot first, his weaker foot. Same as to him, his right hand is called his left hand, or his weaker hand. Therefore, he must show that he is pulling back and slow. Of course, again, the moving back, also you should sort of semi-bow. You incline your head, walk back 3 steps, and then you stand erect, and you bow 3 times, that's a Shalom. Then you wait there until the closet gets to that place. Let's hope that these tools will be discovered. So that to Hamli based on Mikdash, we can bring the Kabbalahs our time now, main building. Come back to a topic that we discussed time and time again. And there's not too much to discuss because we should not fall into opposition of those vast majority who neglect this halacha. Even the biggest and the greatest, one of the biggest and the greatest. The greatest, of course, and the biggest don't neglect it. Many very big ones, for some mysterious reason, this din is overlooked, bypassed, chas v'shalom. There's no explanation for it. This is a halacha that's written clearly, taken from the Gemara. The person finishes the 3 steps backwards, he's supposed to stand with his feet together, just like he does during Shemona Esrei. That's strict number 1. You cannot walk around. You cannot turn your face back. You walk back, he says you must still face east forward. You're not supposed to go back to your place until the Chazan gets up to Yerushalmi, and at Ma'ariv, the Chazan gets up to Kaddish. The person who davens the Yechidus Chas v'Shalom, which is alone, he should go back 3 steps and wait the approximate equivalent time. You would figure it takes the Chazan to get up to the spot that the Chazan started exactly as he walked back. If they have to say Payat, like on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the 4 times before Pesach, which we will start very soon, Shabbos we say, the Chazan says Payat. When you get to Kedusha, you have that big Payat in the front. Then you go back as soon as the Chazan starts the Shemona Esrei, but not before. You still must wait till he starts the Shemona Esrei. Now, this is a very severe halacha, because it is not a light thing if a person breaks it so he gets a slap on the wrist. Remember, the Gemara says that a person who walks back immediately is like a dog, the action of a dog before Hashem. The wording is much more severe than that, using it in a light sense. Therefore, it is a very big mystery. It's not understandable why this din of all dinim should be so stepped on, but the Gemara foresaw it. The Gemara said that when it comes to tefillah, a lot of halachas will be belittled, literally stepped on. Little made nothing of the zalzal and the zils of these, you make very cheap of something which is priceless, you make it so nullified. So at least let's hope that we are zecher to fulfill this halacha the best of our ability, which means simply not to be misled by seeing what others do. If you daven in this million, probably you see everyone do tonight. Then we go out, not to a regular shul, even to a bigger shul, to a shul where you have gedolim. Big, real big gedolim. You see that these gedolim don't follow this halacha. Don't be misled as so many others have been. Here, for some reason, even those who daven with us, who were taught this halacha, who were stressed so strongly that there should be a resentment felt against those who heard this so many times, and then they deliberately go out and follow the other side when they know in their heart, when I pressed them, I could press for the answer. The answer simply was that if it's that important, others would do it. And secondly, the foolish, stupid answer, stock answer, where if this was the only thing we did, it'd be all right. And the two answers to that are, but this isn't the only thing you do, so why add this also? Why add shum? Personally, immerse in a person's breath smells bad because of garlic. Would he eat more garlic to sweeten his breath? A person has sins, so in order to rectify it, purify it, so we'll add another sin to it. It's the first answer. The second answer, the stronger answer, is straight. If this was the only sin you did, it would be pretty bad too. Because if a person had only one sin that he was like a dog, his actions before Hashem, that's bad enough to stop it, but it doesn't cost anything. So this is a definite arrogance, disrespect, extreme disrespect, like the Gemara says, the Azay put of the dogs. Part of a person, one of us has been taught this, and knows it, he should turn away from it. It should be a tzedakah. In the Shemona Esrei, a person is not supposed to make any motions, the same as the Kriya Shema. Why? Not supposed to wink to anyone, not supposed to move his lips, move his fingers, not supposed to stop for anything, not supposed to talk out, Kaddish Kedusha Baruch, but if the Chazan is up to that part, he should stop. In his mind, he should think of those words which he have to. And then, by thinking it, say the Chazan of Kedusha. So he thinks the words Kadosh, 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 and then Baruch Kavod, Yimach. By thinking those words, he has credit as though he is it. The Chiddush is that although Shamei HaKe'ina, this is a paradoxical situation where he has his cake and he eats it too. If he would say those words, it would be a hefsek. He would be destroying his Shemona Esrei. If he doesn't say the words, he doesn't get the credit. Here, it is as though he said the words, and there's still no hefsek in the Shemona Esrei. Both. He gets both credits for it. But throughout the Shemona Esrei, you should be careful not to make any kinds of emotion or kind of signs to anyone. Especially, as we explained last time, that he's not allowed to look outside of the siddur, or if he doesn't have a siddur, he's not allowed to open his eyes at all. At no time should he dare to look away. Because that is completely rebelling standing before the King of Kings and rebelling against him. You're not supposed to see anything at all while you're davening Shemona Esrei. And to stay without a sitter and daven with eyes open, that you don't see much. You ever see a person doing that, you know that this person is not learning Kitzur Shacharach, probably. No doubt, because if he would have truly obeyed this halacha. Don't forget, this is not the halacha we had before, what people step on it. This one. Every other halacha, all people obey. Including that one, it's just that they're unaware of the importance.